Hey, I thought you said you bought the most unreliable car ever.
Oh, I did. I'm not talking about this car. I'm talking about this car.
It's been over a year since I last posted, and a lot has changed. Life got busy. Since I've posted consistently, I've now bought two cars, this car, and I have a Toyota Matrix as my daily. Many of you know me for my K-swapped Honda Civic, which I still have, but it hasn't been without its issues. I can make a whole separate video on what's happened with the Civic and also things going on with the Matrix, but that's not what we're here for. Today, I wanted to relaunch the channel and celebrate 4,000 subscribers by unveiling my next project. This is a 2004 Audi S4. Not many of you know this, but before I owned the Civic, I used to own one of these. And for those of you in the Audi community, the old car was Nogaro Blue, which is one of the most desirable colors ever. Unfortunately, that car had its own issues. I ended up selling it, didn't own it for long, but I'm not going to tell that story now. Essentially, I missed that car ever since I sold it, and well, I made potentially another terrible financial decision. For context, this car launched in 2004. Mercedes was using a V6, BMW was using a V6 in M3, or an inline six, right? All right. Regardless, either way, Audi said, screw it, we're adding two more cylinders, and they put a V8 in this. And not many people even know these cars exist. A lot of people know the newer Audis. A lot of people know the B8 with the supercharged V6. A lot of people know the B5, which started the tuner scene, which has that twin turbo V6 to it. But the B6 and B7 generation, which are essentially the same, just facelifts, these had a V8. And in my opinion, this is one of the most underappreciated cars out there right now. And I will be honest, these cars tend to get hate and they've been forgotten about for a good reason. But if you look at it on paper, V8, all-wheel drive, 6-speed manual, and you can pick these up dirt cheap. Again, there is good reason. And that's because, well, to some people, this is also known as one of the most unreliable cars of all time. Notoriously for their timing chain issues. These are one of the Audi models that have the timing chains at the back of the engine. The guides tend to fail, and it's a very expensive job to take the engine out, separate the transmission, replace the guides. Very complicated timing system. There's 4 timing chains. It's a nightmare. On top of that, these are known for bore scoring, oil consumption, wiring issues, PCV issues, a ton of electrical issues, and like a lot of issues. So there's a reason the M3 of this generation is probably about, on average, 4 times as valuable. But that doesn't mean that this car should be completely neglected. Because again, all-wheel drive V8 manual. You cannot get that anywhere else in that price range. With that being said, like most German cars, maintenance is everything. This car, one of the reasons I ended up buying this one specifically was I felt like I got a great price on it, but the maintenance is phenomenal. Clean Carfax, timing chains done with paperwork, 93,000 miles. This is a very clean example, and it is extremely hard to find these in good condition. Most of these have been beat to the ground. They were driven, and they're hard to find in good shape. But also with that being said, this car isn't perfect, and it needs some work.
Yo, what's that?
I've been told that this is normal and every German car comes with spare oil and coolant and another extra valve cover in the trunk. But again, I think that's a normal German thing. I'm used to these Japanese cars, but hey, massive trunk, huge trunk. Yeah, like I don't think that's anything to be concerned about, right? Let's talk about what this car needs. Light polish, paint isn't bad. Given that it's a black car and this car is 22 years old now, it's in really good shape. If we come around, look at the interior, it's got the ever so common Audi and German car headliner sag. Not a big deal. Could either reupholster it or find some other way to tack it back up. Overall, though, this interior, extremely clean for this generation. It's got a couple other issues. The glove box tends to fall down. It's got some electrical quirks. It's got a intermittent traction control light, traction control light. The radio sometimes doesn't work. The lights sometimes flicker. It does weird electrical stuff. And I have a suspicion that it's a control module, but we'll get into that. You can see 4 memory seat options. We've got factory 3-button garage door opener, the worst cup holder design in history, 6 level seat heaters, 6-speed manual, of course, and a lot of really cool technology. OEM cigarette lighter, ashtray, essentials in 2004 in a German car. Does the sunroof work? I don't know. I don't want to open it because it might not close. Let's talk about the engine. Although this has pretty good history, there's some questionable things. There is also a check engine light on this car. They all come with it, I think. So I know this car has a couple lost communication. I think it has issues, again, electrical, with maybe some fuses that are wrong, some solenoids. I'm really hoping one of the codes was a camshaft adjuster, which would be at the back of the engine, which I'm really hoping that's not the case because I don't want to take that engine out. It had some PCV issues. I should admit, actually, before I made this video, there were a couple things I decided to fix off camera before I decided, let's make a YouTube video out of this. This hood was repainted. You can see this is a nice fresh black paint. The last hood was replaced for some reason, and it was wrapped black. It looked terrible. So we now have a black hood, freshly painted. And I also noticed a ton of PCV code hoses just openly disconnected. So plugged a couple of those back in. Started to run a little better. It was idling a little rough at first. I plugged those in. Now it's running a little better. But there are some codes we still need to sort out. I plan on polishing the headlights, missing a washer cover here, tow hook cover here, really minimal stuff, but just putting that front end together, it's going to make a big difference. Again, with the painted hood. Another fun fact with these, performance Audis in this generation came with real aluminum mirrors. And from what I've heard, the reason they do that is for when you're behind someone on the Autobahn going over 100 miles per hour, people see chrome mirrors behind them, and they know there's a fast car, and they need to move over, which I always thought was so cool. It's stuff like that that's just very subtle. These cars were very understated in a sense. It's got a very simple but elegant design, and it's not in-your-face performance. Subtle badges, V8, it's got the slight bit of skirt down here, but there's nothing in your face that screams performance other than 2 S4 badges and some very minor details. But I think that's what makes these cars really cool. It's a very clean, timeless design. They look amazing, and if you know, you know. So we did get this on the lift.
We're seeing this for the first time together. We know there's an exhaust leak, and we know it's leaking. It's not leaking on the floor. I actually don't even have proof that it's leaking, but it's a 22-year-old Audi S4, so it has to leak. So I believe there's supposed to be a cover that goes here. See what we got here. It's a little bit of residual around the whole oil pan. Hopefully, you see where this is an interesting exhaust job in here. Look at this.
I was both terrified and excited, and it was actually not as bad as expected. There was some minor leakage, which is normal, right? It's a German car, but nothing alarming. Bushings look good. Nothing terrible, a little bit of rust, but nothing outside the ordinary for a 22-year-old car. Being with that, some of the future ideas I had, I'm thinking about tuning it, potentially converting it to rear-wheel drive. I don't know, but it's possible. There are kits to do it on these. A rear-wheel drive V8 would be pretty cool, so that's on the table. Although these cars have a terrible reputation for being horribly unreliable, they do have one very, very, very strong redeeming factor. The people that own these cars know they are a pain, but they own them because they're cool and they also sound amazing. I just wanted to keep this video short and simple. Just wanted to announce that I'm back. The channel is not dead. I have a ton of future plans with this. I want to walk everyone through the journey of what is essentially a new platform for me and what is potentially a new platform for many of you that follow me for my Civic content. But I'm really looking forward to fixing the stuff with this car, potentially turning it into something better, and going through it with everyone else.
My mic actually died in this last clip, but I just wanted to say thank you to those that stuck around and welcome to those of you that are new. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.